Welcome, everyone, to the L7C podcast. We are here with the first NFL podcast of the 2023-24 season. We are finally here. It's been a while since the Super Bowl back in February, and we got the head football man of the L7C, the head producer, Mr. Justin Ackendale. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well. It's that time again. It's starting to get cold outside, even though it ain't because of climate change, but yeah, football is back.
Man, Justin, this year, we say it every year with the NFL because they don't do it on purpose, but they just know how to make storylines that we're going to be following this year, man. There's a lot going on.
There's always something going on in the NFL. I mean, it is the ultimate junkie TV. It sucks me in every single time. I'll be wanting to say, man, fuck the podcast, fuck the NFL, I'm sick of it, I'm done. It then draws me back in every single time around this year. Got 4 fantasy leagues this year. Betting's legal in Ohio now, so I can go legit with this shit now. Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
I will. That's actually a good point there, because with the betting being legal in the state of Ohio, it'll be the first time Ohioans are able to bet all season on NFL and in college, which I didn't mention on the college football podcast. But Justin, man, I mean, your very first podcast 3 years ago, at 3-year anniversary of LSFC, you talked about making sports bets. That was 3 years ago, and now 3 years later, it's legal in the state of Ohio.
Man, I've been doing this. I've been doing this betting shit. It used to only be the NFL, and now it's everything.
Love it.
We might have to do a side betting podcast of all sports, because I'm in this shit, man. I'm up.
We might have to, man. If you want to figure it out, we can figure that out. But
no, we'll see.
Justin, I feel like that's a more it's weird because most of the sports are gone in summer, but I feel like that'd be a more summery thing, springish, because that's when we're less busy, because we got college football back, we got NFL back. From the other side, the fall anime season's going to start soon, so then that's going to be back. Fall gets real busy over here.
Maybe in the winter, maybe ramp up our NBA coverage.
Maybe
I might have to do some NBA pods in between Evan.
Do some betting ones, some over-unders. That is a quieter time, because once fall starts, it's
fun. It's every week. It's a lot. I get overwhelmed in the fall. I'm not even going to lie.
So, Justin, man, where do you want to start on the first NFL pod of 2023?
Man, we can go with running backs. We can do the preview who I think will make the playoffs from 1 through 7. Even though the NFC, I don't know who's about to be the 7th spot. I don't know who's about to be the 7th spot in the AFC. So it's 6 teams there, but we can go.
Let's save the playoff stuff. Let's make that the main event of the podcast, because I think we're gonna have a lot of different. So let's start with some pre-show appetizers. So the NFL running back thing, I just wanted to bring this up because obviously, if you follow the sport, you know, like they've just been getting shat on recently, like the devaluing of the position. And I mean, Austin Eckler and McCaffrey held a running back summit on Zoom with all the top running backs talking about what they can do. The players union talking. It's Justin, man, it's these things that these owners, they don't want to pay them anymore.
Yeah, it's starting to come to a head. Back in the day, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, where, the running back was the biggest star of the team, because these teams like pass as much.
Mm-hmm.
These teams that you paid your running back. Like, I remember the Cowboys in the 90s. Emmitt Smith's out the first game, and they got destroyed by the Eagles, and Jerry was like, we need this nigga back now. Like, it's just not like that anymore. Like the analytic people, the nerds telling everyone that, you can get a running, but you don't have to pay your running back, and the hamstrings the team. And, they make a good point about it, but it's starting to get a little insane. Even I have said like, yeah, you don't need to be, using first round picks on running backs and, paying running backs these big huge contracts. I didn't think the Cowboys should have paid Zeke his contract. So yeah, it's definitely a lot, but I know that the best running backs in this league in these leagues are getting paid. McCaffrey got his money. Jonathan Taylor ain't about to get his money, which is absolutely insane, because the Colts have Anthony Richardson at quarterback and he's a rookie, and they have a quarterback on a rookie deal, so I don't understand why they don't want to pay him. I guess that's just Jim Irsay. But Carolina traded their running back to the 49ers after they already paid him. Derrick Henry got his money. I mean, so some of the upper echelon guys are getting their money. It's just, there's not really a middle class running back getting money, or the lower class ones aren't getting money either. If you pay your quarterback $50 million, it's not a lot left to go around to give your running back $20 million. So
you're 100% right. I do like the line you said about like they don't want to hamstring by paying their top running back, but then you'll see a mediocre quarterback hamstring. They'll pay them quick because they don't want anything less than a mediocre quarterback. I mean, who don't? Because I think, listen to this stat. So since 2015, the running back position is the only position that their franchise tag went down. So they were they're the second lowest franchise tag position, only above a kicker or punter.
I mean, these teams, analytics, they figured out that we can get 3 running backs to do the role of one that used to be one role. Like, they're not making running backs like LaDainian Tomlinson anymore, where they're on the field for all 3 downs. They're doing, you got your 2 down back, and then you got your 3rd down back, and then you got a back that comes in and strictly blocks. And it's just tough. Like, I don't know what the solution is for them, because, the teams that do pay their running backs, they don't win either. So there's that dilemma as well, too. It's just a tough situation to be in for a running back. And I get tired of people saying that, like, oh, they keep paying the running backs like there ain't going to be no kids coming up to play running back. That is bullshit, because football is a sport still ran by coaches. You go on that field the first day in Little League, they fucking tell you what position you're going to play. Mm-hmm. So
that's true.
It's going to continue to keep being a problem unless, they make a change in the CBA, or all the running backs just strike. All of them. It'll take all of them to do that. So I don't really know what they do.
That's a good point, because this was a tweet that everyone's been saying, like, this was from Matt Miller, who everyone got on his ass at NFL Draft Scouts, like, draft a running back, play a running back, ... if he's good, franchise tag the running back one time, and then repeat the cycle. And if you remember, I mean, one of the instances was, your Dallas Cowboys with DeMarco Murray ran him into the ground and said adios.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. You get penalized if you're a running back if you're too good. Mm-hmm. If you're too good, you won't get penalized. The team won't come back and say, "Oh, well, you had 300 touches this year. You gonna be able to do the same thing next year?" Like it's just a tough fucking spot to be in. Like I do feel so bad for him, but I know why the front offices are doing this to him. It's just tough.
Well, how come running back's the only position, which I actually like the Stephen A. Smith point, how come they're the only position penalized by their age? Like, there are other positions where are taking a lot of hits too, and they don't get, like, a running back is like, oh, you're 27, you've played 3 years, oh, you're already done. Well, like, why are they getting penalized by their age?
Well, you can still hit a running back however the fuck you want to. Like, they get, their contact is different than, like, a wide receiver, and you can't hit a wide receiver defenseless anymore. So I think that's where that comes into. There's really been no rule changes for running backs other than horse collar tackles, which affects all players, which I did not know that the horse collar was banned only 20 years ago. You used to be able to just fucking horse collar players 30 years ago, which is wild.
I also think, too, of some of these things that have led to this moment where some of these running backs who previously got paid and haven't done anything or didn't do anything, like Todd Gurley, when he got paid big, his career was over in the next couple of years. Ohio native.
Injured.
I know, but that's one of the things. They're like Le'Veon Bell. That's another one the Jets paid. And
yeah, he fizzled out badly.
Unfortunately, ever since, he's still good. Alvin Kamara, ever since he got paid, he hasn't really been the same.
Yeah, but have the Saints been the same though?
They're gonna look at the running back.
You can't put that on Alvin Kamara that they don't have a quarterback and they're shitty. I think his performance was I think Sean Payton leaving them hurt him a lot, and the Saints just being shitty. Michael Thomas not playing. There are other factors in Alvin Kamara's decline than him just declining as a player. I gotta support my guy there.
Because you look at these other people, like obviously Debo, he didn't want to get paid like a running back. He's not a running back. He was like, I'm not a running back. I'm a wide receiver. I want to be called a wide receiver because of the money and all.
Because of this.
But I mean, these running backs, they're getting more and more skilled now in these things. Like they're not just running backs. Like they're catching the ball. They're sometimes the last line of defense for your quarterback getting smacked.
It's a very important position. You need running backs, but just like the nerd said, you can get a running back to block. You can get a fucking scat back to catch. You can fill a running back. You can get 3 running backs for the price of fucking Saquon Barkley for 1 year.
That's true. I will. The only thing I'll push back on the nerds, because I've thought about this long and hard. This is my last 2 points, but this will move on. These are the same nerds who said in the NBA you didn't need a center anymore, and look what's happened now. Just saying. Yeah. Because remember, in the NBA, we had a center decline, where the center, like the running back a long time ago, most important position in basketball, not even close. And then it became guard oriented. Look at the past couple MVPs and look who the best player in the world is.
I don't want to fully give you that because fucking Jokic is a fucking absolute demon. Like he is different. He does not count. He is not your average. He is not your average center.
Well, they evolved,
but going throughout the playoffs, it became very clear that these teams do not have anyone who can stop them. And Anthony Davis was the closest thing that could stop him. He was still getting cooked. So
you need a center now. I mean, I'm not even talking about him. Look who MVP was a center. Yeah, the past 3 MVPs have been centers.
Yeah, you get some extraterrestrials like that, and then the whole league shifts to small ball, and you get those niggas, and yeah, it's gonna take a while for them to catch up.
It's just we'll see if that happens. Like some of these. I mean, the way sports evolve and all of that, and the NFL just go ahead.
With your point in that though, like these teams passing more, like they're changing their defenses. Getting smaller guys to contain the pass. There's going to be an inefficiency with all these little defensive players, and there's going to be some teams that are just going to say, "Fuck it, we're going to get big on the line. We're going to get Derrick Henry type backs, and we're going to fucking bludgeon you to death." And you're going to see some teams like that make some noise with the pivot to trying to stop the pass so much.
Yeah, it's just weird because we're in a league now where teams can't even get a 4th and 1 because they don't want to run the ball.
Yeah. Which
makes no sense. It's 4th and 1. Run the damn ball.
Yes. Turn around, give it to whoever the fuck is back there. Have that line push them back 1 fucking yard and get the 1 yard. I absolutely agree. Yeah. All this passing shit, like it gets annoying sometimes when, you grew up playing football and like that power shit does work. Especially like a team like the Browns, for example, they got one of the best lines in the league, a bell cow back. They can exploit that advantage of playing like a smaller all right, for the Cowboys, for example, we have a defensive line that's more predicated on rushing the passer. That was one of our weaknesses last year. We gave up a lot through the middle. So, if we had to play the Browns this year, that's a bad matchup.
I also want to talk too about like pure football thing. You played football. I didn't play football, but I've watched a whole bunch of football. These people they're like, oh, you don't need a running back because we're passing all that stuff. You're going to pass every time when there's 8 people coming down here. They're all just in coverage with these young quarterbacks who can't read coverage. And they can't hand the ball off to anyone because their running back he's not good.
That's not true. You definitely need a running back. You need him to block. You need him to occupy short areas of the field, get short yardage. Like you definitely need a running back. I don't know. Like the conversation comes in, do you have to pay the running back? Not if you need one, because you absolutely fucking need one.
Yeah, these people try to say you don't need running backs anymore. Like don't pay a running back. I'm like, so your quarterback's just gonna be able to throw? These defenses are too good, man. Even the Chiefs don't throw every play.
No, you have to have some semblance of balance. You have to have someone catching the short routes, and it can't always be the wide receiver because defenses can easily stop that if there's no threat.
Yeah, I think the next CBA will be very interesting. I think they just need if they're gonna do this whole thing where they franchise tag them once, they got to make that franchise tag like middle tier. They can't be second to last.
Yeah, they got to do something. They got to get some more of the pot, or or don't fucking pay the quarterback so goddamn much.
That's another thing because, again, they're talking about hamstring. Most of the time, when the quarterback is the highest paid quarterback in the league, they don't win the Super Bowl. Their team doesn't win. They don't get to a Super Bowl.
Exactly. That's what we talk about. Windows with young quarterbacks
Yes,
who
sir.
pop early. That you gotta make sure that you load the team up and make a fucking run.
Because I'm sorry, man. Even from a notoriety thing, I know more top running backs than I know top tight ends, top safeties, top corners. Like
they're still bigger stars too, kind of.
That's it's crazy. But Justin, man, one more thing on this. Let's go to just quickly. Trey Lance got traded from San Francisco to Dallas. I was really shocked that he got traded because from one, San Francisco is the only team in my lifetime that all their quarterbacks were hurt. Number two, this is a guy who he was supposed to start for Jimmy Garoppolo. That was the plan. They traded everything to get this guy. And now he's not even on the team. It's being deemed one of the worst trade up in the history of the NFL, one of the worst in sports. Like, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I can't defend them trading up and giving away all of those assets to trade up and get him. It was after a COVID year where, the world did not make sense. And them trading up all those assets did not make sense to a man that played in one showcase game. But I digress. Yeah, it's pretty bad. He broke his ankle last year, so we didn't get to see what he would have done. He didn't really have a chance, and he didn't show it to him in camp, during the training camp. And the 49ers are in win now mode, and Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt last year, and Brock Purdy came in, and he ran that offense and got them to the NFC Championship game, mostly through not fucking it up because that team is really talented, but he got him there. So yeah, San Francisco was able to afford to trade him, get a 4th round pick back for what they trade like 3 first round picks up to get him.
And those 3 picks became Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and Bradley Chubb.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's bad, but teams like credits to San Francisco for realizing it early and get it off him now before it really became a problem. They got rid of him now. We still have questions about their quarterback room. We'll get to that in the preview, but they did what they had to do. They had to get him out. They thought he wasn't going to work. You can't have that nigga just lingering around in there if he ain't going to get in. So that's where I stand on it.
Right. All right, Justin, this part I've been waiting to talk to you since probably
April.
No, when did Aaron Rodgers go to the Jets?
Oh fuck. Was it after the draft?
Yeah, it was after the draft because Pat McAfee wasn't even on ESPN yet.
So June-ish then.
Yeah, so around start of summertime, I've been wanting to talk to you this for a long time because this is the most competitive AFC I have seen in my life. And I've lived through, competitive at a standpoint of not like, obviously we went through Brady Manning wars, like, and all that stuff and throwing some Ben in that and some in between. But from all team perspective, this is the most competitive I've ever seen because there's a lot of good teams that are not making the playoffs.
When I did my little game to see who would make the playoffs, there were only there's only 5 losing there were only 5 teams with losing records in the AFC after I went through it all. I only had 5 teams.
Who are the 5?
I had the Patriots, the Broncos, but they were 8 when I had them getting 8 games, so just
so 8 and 9.
Yeah, the Raiders, I had them win 4 games. Colts, Texans.
Okay. How many games do you have the Patriots win?
6.
Okay.
Which is kind of low. Now this little list that I did, this was just me just going through the schedule and just on paper, just top of my head who I might think win, and then I put it in, and then I start actually looking at it, really looking at the schedule and shit, seeing which team has buys here and there and shit, and yeah, It's definitely going to change during the season. Them, injuries void everything if a big guy gets hurt. But yeah, that's how I did it.
So what are you thinking looking at, like, what does that tell you about the AFC?
It's tough. Like it's going to be hell. It's going to be hell for some of these teams. If some teams can get on runs, like I know specifically, I said if the Jaguars, the Jaguars, they play Kansas City in week 2, Buffalo in week 5, San Francisco in week 10. That's just going to be a hard game. And then they got to play the NFC North, Bengals, Browns, Ravens, 13, 14, 15. So there's just stretches like that in the AFC where it's just tough. Like there ain't no easy games.
Yeah, and with Jacksonville's the only, I guess you could say Kansas City too, but they're the only two teams where I'm pretty confident they'll win their division. I know Jacksonville's winning that division, but I'm pretty confident Kansas City will, but the Chargers might figure it out. Those other two, the North and the East.
Oh, I mean, the AFC North is the best division in football, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. All those teams had winning records when I did the little game. And then the AFC East is going to be a meat grinder too. I mean, the Patriots, I have them winning 6 games, but they're going to be a tough out. That defense is really good. Mac Jones is decent. He can win some games. Mac Jones can win some games. Aaron Rodgers moves into that division. The Dolphins are scary offensively, and then you still got the Bills. So, yeah, those two divisions specifically are just meat grinders. It's tough.
Yeah, because even if the Patriots only win 6 games, if 4 out of those 6 are against division opponents, you're going to mess someone up in your own division.
Yeah, someone's getting fucked up.
So just how did you sort out the AFC, Bev? Like there's 7 spots. Who's making the playoffs in the AFC right now?
Well, we gotta start with our number 1 seed. We got Kansas City. There's just no reason not to slot them in at 1. Like they scored the most points in the league last year. Their defense is good. They have Patrick Mahomes.
You still have them number 1 if Chris Jones sits out till week 8?
Chris Jones is going to come back.
Okay.
I think he's going to come back. They're deep. That is a little scary. I did read that Chris Jones is still holding out. But I think they're going to get it figured out. The Chiefs are just too good. They're a good organization. I think they figured that shit out. Number 2, we have the Bengals. And despite going...
They're hated
despite going 0-2 the 0-2 last season, they ended up being 12-4.
Mm-hmm.
Still got Joe Burrow. Had Joe Mixon take a pay cut. Still got all the receivers. Very excited for their week 1 game against Cleveland. Cleveland's 5-1 against them in the past 6 games. So I think the Bengals are going to be up for that one. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I got the Bengals in 3rd. I mean 2nd, my bad. And then 3rd we have Jacksonville. We already talked about that. There are games, and now if Jacksonville can like have a winning record against the other good teams in the AFC, I think they can fuck around and be the number 1 seed.
I actually 100% agree. They're in the weakest conference division in the AFC, so you play everyone
in the fucking NFL. The whole goddamn NFL. The AFC South sucks.
I think the NFC South's worse.
You think?
Atlanta, Carolina. I mean, I don't think any of those teams are good. At least no Jacksonville's good.
But no one else. But all those teams in the South are going except Tampa and Carolina, actually. We'll talk about that
I do. I mean, I could see it. I just think you played the Texans twice, Colts twice, Titans twice. So that's 6-0. That's 6 wins right there. They're gonna get some wins. I was so impressed in that playoff game, man, when they came back against the Chargers, and that was an embarrassment to the Chargers. It's like, again, like I said last year, the difference a head coach makes in the NFL.
It's insane. And yeah, chalk that up to just the Chargers being the fucking Chargers. But yeah, they showed me some things in that game. They played Kansas City tough in that divisional game. If Trevor Lawrence, jumps up a tier, he becomes in that Burrow, Mahomes tier, like everyone's been saying that he can be. Oh my God, yeah, they can be the number 1 seed.
I don't think he'll jump up to that tier this year. I think he'll get closer because people don't remember how good this guy was. He's going to have Calvin Ridley all year.
Yes, he's gonna have Calvin Ridley, and their receiving core wasn't bad last year. I like Kirk. I like Evan Ingram. Their defense is good. If Trayvon Walker can really get going, they already have Josh Allen on the edge. Like they're good. They're a good football team. They're poised to really make a run. And then fourth, we're probably going to spend some time on these motherfuckers. I got the Buffalo Bills. They still got Josh Allen, but we said it last year. These niggas gotta win the Super Bowl last year, and they didn't, and they absolutely fucking have to now. It's do or die. Diggs is pissed off. I don't know why he's mad. Josh Allen cap hit next year is $47 million. 2025 is $56. $56 million in 2 years. They gotta do it right now, or he gonna be doing it by himself. For real.
Well, he better get ready to do it by himself. They ain't winning it, so
I'm totally writing them off. I mean, I see where you're coming from.
I'm not budging, bro. Because last year I was full. They have to win this year. No,
bro. I totally get where you're coming from. I'm not even going to try to make a case for these clowns this year. You are right. They were winning before Josh Allen's alleged UCL elbow injury. If he was really that hurt, they should have let him sit out a couple games and let that shit actually heal. If he was really that banged up, they should have took him out and just seen how far they could have gotten without him. Because they were still winning games after that, but they weren't as dominant they was at the beginning of the season when they were absolutely destroying teams, what they did to the Rams and, those type of games. So, yeah, we just got to see with Buffalo what the fuck they are about. Regular season does not matter. I don't care what they do in the regular season. It only matters when they get into the games in January if they can get over the hump. Because that game against the Bengals was quite frankly horrible. It was an embarrassment.
In their spot. In their home field.
In the snow. And you are Buffalo. Buffalo. Mm-hmm. It's cold outside there. Mm-hmm. You should not. Joe fucking Burrow should not be better than Josh Allen in the snow. Just physically, he just shouldn't be. And Joe Burrow, the second best quarterback in the league, but he should not. Josh Allen should not have been that bad in the snow. Maybe you can chalk up to the injury. I don't know, but the Bills have to do something this year because they're up against it. They're up against it. They're not going to be able to keep this roster intact one more year. Like it's going to be a whole new cast of faces if they don't win it right now.
I mean, the past couple of years, the Bills have always felt like, oh, we just got to beat Kansas City and then it's ours. And then they beat them that regular season game that we actually got to talk about after. And we both said how they were treating that game like it was the damn Super Bowl in week 8 because they won in Kansas City. But they forgot that Cincinnati has beat Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. Cincinnati has played Kansas City 2 years in a row in this damn game. So now you can't beat Kansas City when it matters. You can't beat Cincinnati when it matters. So that's already 2 teams. You got everyone picking against you with the Jets. You got Lamar Jackson coming back. But if they don't, they need to win. You are 100% right, Justin. They need to win this year. Will they? No. And then it's over. Then they're done for the next 10 years.
And with all that said, take the Bills week 1.
9-11 game against the Jets.
I'll bet the Bills right the fuck now. There ain't no way they losing that game.
Sending a message?
Oh, sending a fucking message.
Von Miller ain't playing for 4 weeks.
I'm telling you right now, they're not about to let Aaron. We want to talk about the Jets. The Jets' first month is brutal. 6 weeks is brutal.
The most picked team to win the Super Bowl right here on all sport bet books.
I cannot believe it. Oh my God.
So those are the 4 seeds so I'm assuming we can guess the Jets might be in your wild card, but who do you have in these wild card spots? Only 3.
Well, the Jets, we have the Jets 7 because, and I was very close to not even picking these motherfuckers to make the playoffs. But when I was
going against the grain.
It's not going against, not really, because there's always new playoff teams in the NFL. There's always new teams. And when I was going through it, I had the same 7 teams that were in last year. So I knew I couldn't do that shit. So that's why the Jets are there. I am really high on Miami. Jalen Ramsey might be hurt, but I do not care. That team is going to be good this year again. But five is Baltimore. The only question mark.
If you brought up Miami. Remember, with a backup quarterback, they almost beat the Jets at home in the playoffs.
The Bills?
Yeah, the Bills. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that team's good too.
Mm-hmm.
But 5, we have Baltimore. Only question is, will Lamar stay healthy? If Lamar can stay healthy the entire season, they're a Super Bowl tier team to me.
They made a lot of changes.
Yes, they have lots of new offensive players. Odell, rookie Zay Flowers, who PFF has rated very highly through the preseason. So yeah, I think they have potential if shit breaks their way to win the division and be, like I said, in that Super Bowl tier. And then 6, we got the Chargers. Justin Herbert's just too good to not be around the playoffs. We'll see if they can stop the run. They can stop the running, and then yeah, they'll be back. They might be able to actually make some noise if they can stop the run. And then yeah, I put the Jets in here because we need a new AFC playoff team, and they got the hot buzz. But I want to read off the Jets first 6 weeks.
I'm looking at it right now. It is bad.
It's brutal. I mean, they start off with the Bills at Dallas, New England week 3, which is no stretch. Fucking Bill Belichick hates the Jets for some reason. And then Kansas City, the week after the Patriots game, at Denver, and at Denver is a hard game and early in the season, mile high. And then the Eagles before the bye week. So those first 6 weeks, they can fuck around and be 2-4. And then how Aaron Rodgers is going to react to that. So that's where I'm at with the Jets. if they can get past that, and if they get past it gets easier towards the back end, but we're gonna know about the Jets early.
So on those playoff teams, so you left out Miami, Cleveland, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But you just said you believe in Miami. Right now. So why did Miami get in instead of the Chargers?
I think Herbert's better than Tua.
Okay. Makes sense.
If there's a team after seeing this right now that I feel comfortable taking out, it'll be the Chargers for the Dolphins, Browns, or Steelers.
And then we talked about want to talk about the Bills. The Cleveland Browns, they're in a lot worse situation because they're the ones who made all the owners mad because they gave that guaranteed contract. Justin, they got to do something this year. They absolutely have to do something.
It hinges on can Deshaun Watson beat 2020 Deshaun Watson before he became the horniest man in America? That's what he has for. If he is 2020 Deshaun Watson, then Cleveland's in the playoffs. They're good. Like, they are talented. Like, they got something going on in Cleveland. If he shows up, and like I said, if he's 2020 Deshaun Watson, then Cleveland's in the playoffs for sure. But I just don't know. I just don't know what to expect from Deshaun.
They have to, man. They have to. Like, Stefanski, his ass is out if they don't make the playoffs. Like, their team's not long for this world either.
And that's why the AFC is so fucking compelling. Like, I didn't think about the Browns situation being as dire as you just put it, but it really is.
Yeah, because 230 guaranteed, like, they're not giving him an extension.
And then they're stuck. They're stuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same. It's the same. Like, it's the same thing with we didn't mention the Broncos. It's the same shit with the Broncos. Like, I heard they were before they got Sean Payton. They think about trading Russell Wilson. No one wanted to take him because of the contract. Like,
that's also going to be a big fumble too. One of the biggest fumbles if they do not do anything either.
Oh yeah, how do you think Pete Carroll feeling right now? He probably laughing so hard up in Seattle.
Oh yeah, because they got the comeback player of the year last year. And they made the playoffs and was actually compelling against the 49ers.
Yeah, and look at what the Broncos do now. Yeah, the Broncos are in that boat. The Browns, the Bills that we already talked about. Shit, you could, even though I think the Ravens are going to be like that, the Ravens too. Like, they got to put it together too. Lamar Jackson, you gotta stay healthy. You gotta make it through a full season. Like, that's the only thing keep holding that team back from being great.
Because guess what? If he don't stay healthy, 5 years from now, running quarterbacks are going to get paid less than stationary quarterbacks because they can't stay healthy. That's just how this league works.
I can see them doing that shit.
That's how this league works. And then, like last year, man, biggest wild card for me in the AFC is the Steelers because they were good until TJ Watt got hurt. Then they were awful. Then TJ Watt comes back, and then they have a winning record.
Hold on. I knew you were going to bring up the Steelers, man. I had to steal some stats from a podcast I was listening to earlier. The Steelers last year were 1-6 without TJ Watt.
Mm-hmm.
With him, 8-2.
It's crazy.
8 sacks without TJ Watt. 32 with him.
Mm-hmm.
25 points per game allowed without TJ Watt. 17 points allowed with him. Five turnovers caused without TJ Watt. 18 when he gets back. I've never seen a defensive player make such an impact for a team. He's almost like a quarterback. It's wild.
Yeah, he's getting, and they're all like picking. People are talking about his growth, and the wide receiver there who's starting to get a lot of love in Pittsburgh. It's just
Pickens.
Yeah. And I mean, because he has more Super Bowls, but I could still make the case like Tomlin might be the best coach in the NFL.
He's up there.
I don't see anyone else getting this much with less.
He squeezes. It's the same thing that was No, it's not the same thing. But Mike Vrabel does the same thing because Tennessee's not good either.
That's Tennessee's a team, not
good, and he drags them too. Mike Tomlin's a great coach. Fucking Kyle, we love Kyle Shanahan, but when he don't got a fucking stacked ass team, he loses. Point blank. Period. He can't win if his team's not stacked.
And he messes up in big moments.
Yes.
If people don't remember that. So
the fucking Super Bowl.
Super Bowl. I mean,
he wasn't the head coach then.
He was offensive coordinator and he had free reign. If their team wasn't good, this Trey Lance thing, if this was any of those bad teams, he would have been fired.
Yeah. He wins too much.
Yeah.
They've been, all right. Let's just talk about the NFC now.
They're compelling for a different reason. AFC is compelling because there's so many good teams. NFC is compelling because I don't know who's good.
I mean, I know who's good.
I know 2 teams.
I know. What do you mean 2 teams? There's a 3-team tier in the goddamn NFC.
3 teams.
There's 3 fucking teams. It's 3 fucking teams in the NFC. You already know what the fuck going on with me.
Oh, here we go.
You already know what the fuck going on. Fuck
here we go.
I want to talk about them now. 49ers, number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
The number 2 seed in the NFC, and you fucking heard it here first. Let me pull a U and take my glasses off, and I don't got no contact since I can't even fucking see you. The Cowboys are about to be the 2nd seed in the NFC. They're winning the NFC East. They are winning the NFC East. You heard it here first. I do not care that Philly went to the Super Bowl last year. They're going to have some regression from that. The Cowboys will win that division. Dak is not going to throw 15 picks in 12 games again. We're going to have a top 5 defense again. The line will be top 5 if we stay healthy. It's a good football team. Dan Quinn's a great coach. I'm a little worried about Big Mike, running the offense a little bit. I'm a little scared about that, but the only thing that you can say about the Cowboys is history. That is why you can't put them in that tier. 12-5 the past 2 seasons. They're in that tier with the Eagles and the 49ers.
History plays a little part. The reason I can't put them in that tier is because the Eagles lost the Super Bowl but had top 10 picks and were able to get them Georgia Line boys. Like,
rookie defensive linemen in the interior of the NFL don't pop for a few years. That's not necessarily
the top tier. That's not necessarily
going to be. It's not necessarily going to be a game changer for them. They lost Javon Hargraves, who was very good for them in the middle of that defense. He's a 49er now. The Eagles set that sack record last year. Guess who led the league in pressure last year?
Cowboys.
Yeah, It's closer than you think. We split them. We split with them last year. We always play the Eagles tough. The teams in the NFC East always play each other tough. So the Eagles aren't going to sweep the division. We aren't going to sweep that division. I think the Cowboys, beat the Eagles off a tiebreaker and win the division. Will they do shit in the playoffs? Fucking I know, probably not. But I think they can win the division title and be the 2 seed in the NFC. A weak NFC.
We're gonna see because history also plays on a part in your argument because no one wins this division 2 years in a row.
The Cowboys didn't win the division 2 years in a row. The Eagles won it last year.
That's what I'm saying. No one. That's what helped your argument.
Oh,
and no one wins it 2 years in a row. So, but then y'all division was the biggest surprise in the NFL for me because 3 teams made the playoffs, and the Washington Commanders weren't that terrible.
Yeah, it's a meat grinder too. I think the NFC East is the second best division in football.
Okay. So where do you have? So if you had Dallas second, that put Philly to the wild card.
Yeah, 5th seed.
Okay,
same record. It's off tiebreaker.
Okay,
it's close. I ain't go crazy now. Come on now.
Who's the 3rd seed?
And the Eagles had extremely good injury luck. That shit never happened 2 years in a row.
Okay.
Think about it.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts got hurt at the very end of the season, but other than that, that's still really big. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. Not as crazy as I thought. I've defended my take very well. Thank you very much. Number 3 is the Detroit Lions. They snuck up on people last year. They're not. No, I got them very high. I'm not confident about this. They snuck up on people. They have a very good offensive line. Jared Goff, he can get the job done. He can get. I think they make the playoffs this year. I think they stack on to what they put together in the last season. And I'm not really sold on any other team in the NFC North. I know Minnesota's falling back. There's no way they can replicate. They're the luckiest team of all time last year. So someone has to win the NFC North. Why not the Lions this year?
Like a 3 seed? That's the only part I disagree with. I don't know if they'll be a 3 seed. I agree with them making the playoffs.
Someone has to be a 3. Someone from the NFC North and South will be a 3 seed. It gotta be someone.
That's true. So that means
it's gotta be someone. So one of those teams, like a Falcons or Lions or Vikings, one of those teams are going to be like the 3-4 seed, and then I feel like one of the teams in the NFC East or West, like Seahawks, Cowboys, Eagles. One of those like double-digit win like teams are going to be that 5th seed, just because they're not going to be able to win the division. There's going to be one team that wins more games than the other team, like a lot more.
Who's your 4th seed?
The Atlanta Falcons. I've already bet them to win the NFC South. I suggest you take that too. The Falcons are, they're Arthur Smith is the coach. He was the OC in Tennessee for a long time. They do it a little differently than everyone. They run the ball like old school. Like they run the ball in a league where it's getting smaller. They're doing the ball control offense. The only thing I'm really worried about them offensively is Desmond Ritter starting. If Desmond Ritter can, be a competent quarterback. They got Bijan Robertson. They got 1,000 yards last year with Tyler Algier. They got Kyle Pitts. Drake London is good. Who was the other wide receiver? They got Matt Collins for the Raiders. He's a decent wide receiver. And then defensively, they got Jesse Bates from the Bengals, who's a great safety. Calais Campbell for the defensive lines. The Falcons are ready to break out this year, and they're going to be a playoff team. They're going to win the division, and I can't pick the Saints again this year because fuck them.
Yeah, because they let you down last year. That was a debacle, but they did make addition. They made a QB shift too, one of the first ones of the offseason. They did get Derek Carr, which is an upgrade. You just never know with the Saints, man, because their defense is really good. Obviously, CO2,
it's old.
It is old, but their division's not good. And then
not at all.
You got CO2 who's emerged. Kamara has his little suspension he's going to deal with. We'll see how you got utility weapon taste. My thing is, man, is Michael Thomas going to play a full year? Is he going to play?
It's a question for Byron.
Because that's going to be one of the biggest changes. Like, last time we saw him, Michael Thomas was the highest paid receiver in the league last time he played.
Drew Brees was still in the league.
Yeah?
Drew Brees was still in the league. Yeah, yeah, if they get a full season of Michael Thomas, that might change things, but I'm very high on the Falcons, just like the rest of the nerds in football. So I'm going with them to win that division, and that division is dog shit. I can't pick Tampa. I saw Carolina in the preseason. Their offensive line looks fucking dog shit. So I can't pick them. I can't pick them either. So yeah, it's between the Falcons and the Saints. I think the Falcons are better than the Saints.
Man, who are your wild card teams?
We have the Eagles at 5th. We already talked about them, and then we have the Seattle Seahawks at 6. Now, if they can keep up what they did last year, their young tackles keep getting better. They got Bobby Wagner back. I think I know I picked the 49ers to be the number 1 seed in this shit, but they've had too much noise this whole offseason. It's been too much noise. I think if the Seahawks come out and shit breaks right for them, they can win the division.
It's interesting because, NFL is just one of those great leagues that like you said, new people are in the playoffs. People you didn't expect win the division. Slip-ups happen. People get hurt. The 49ers, on paper, they got all this talent, but, you're right. They can get God.
They can definitely get God. Brock, we gotta see Brock Purdy a full season do this shit.
Now people have film on. People have film on him now.
We gotta see this nigga do this shit for 17 games of a UCL injury. I'm not completely sold on that, man. I think we see Sam Darnold throughout the season. So, the Seahawks can win that division. The Rams aren't good. The Cardinals are fucking tanking. They're not trying at all.
Oh, the correct term now is preparing for the future. I heard that today on NFL Today. Instead of tanking, they're preparing for the future.
Fine. They're preparing for the future by not trying to win. I like that better. So, yeah, the Seahawks can definitely make a run again, especially if Geno Smith plays as well as he did last year, or even better.
Okay. I'm rooting for him. Pete Carroll seems extra motivated without the Russell Wilson stuff and all that. And I know he's hurt right now. Hopefully he'll be back early in this season, but you got Metcalf, Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba's going to do great things in the slot for him. And then they obviously, they got a squad. I like that pick. So then what about the 7th seed?
I need your help, brother.
Okay.
I have it because Giants and Commanders were basically the same team last year. They're the same fucking team.
Hey, I told you to get on the Giants early last year. You didn't believe me.
And, we'll see if they can do it again.
They won't.
That is why it is between the Commanders, Giants, and Packers for that last playoff spot. And I don't know goddamn thing about Jordan Love. I gotta see it. I just haven't seen it. I just don't know. I know Minnesota's taking a step back.
You don't have them in the playoffs, do you?
No.
Wow. Number 2 player in the league, Justin Jefferson. Your boy Kirk Cousins?
Kirky! They're gonna be a tough out because they can fucking score, but they ain't going. That defense is fucking awful. So they're going to have to outscore teams. I looked at their schedule. Kirk Cousins, there's a decent amount of prime time games on there. Not 2 years in a row.
I can't go Commanders because they got Sam Howell at quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. In the little bit I saw Sam Howell the preseason, he looked good. He looked good. They got Jahan Dotson, they got Terry McLaurin, they got Brian Robinson, the front floor on defense. So I don't know who about to be the last team in the NFC playoffs.
Out of those 3 teams, the Packers have the better defense.
Yeah.
Can you make the argument? Coaching right now, Matt LaFleur is better than Rivera. I don't know if you could say he's better than the Giants coach. He just won Coach of the Year, but he's comparable or better.
I get the Packers to coaching.
So they have coach, they have defense. I know home field doesn't matter, but if it comes down to the Packers need to win a snowy game in Lambeau to get to a playoff, and one of these teams have to go there.
Green Bay's an interesting case because with Jordan Love, these LaFleur, Shanahan systems, they really don't want quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, who's like, generational talent, can go up to the line and do whatever the fuck he wants and make shit happen. They want a nigga who's going to do exactly what the coach says. And if Jordan Love can distribute that ball like a Brock Purdy to the young weapons that Green Bay has, I'm confident Christian Watson's going to get better. We'll see about Romeo Doubs.
And he had a full offseason as a QB1. These past couple of years, he never had a full offseason as QB1 because he didn't know if Aaron was staying or going.
So he's the guy now. I'm leaning
I think we got to go Packers.
Yeah, I'm leaning hard towards the Packers too.
As of right now.
Yes, this is all. No, I can be wrong for all. I'm probably going to be wrong.
No, last year you did really good. The NFC, I think you almost got completely right besides the Saints. I'll have to look. I know you did really well in the NFC. It was just the Saints when that was embarrassing.
Yeah, I did good. I think I said Colts.
Oh, Colts last year in the AFC. That one was your Colts and Saints, but you did really good last year.
Mm-hmm. And then it was like week 3 when I started telling you about the Jaguars. I was like,
yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah. Well, now those type of teams, you can't watch out for them. They're here now.
Yeah. So this year, Falcons. Steelers potentially, but the AFC is harder. It's hard to predict with that one.
No, the Denver team, man. Sean Payton, if he really turns that around, man, they could do some things, but I don't know what's with Russ.
Russell might be washed, and Jerry Jeudy hurt now. They lost Tim Patrick again, so the receivers are hurt again. I don't know how Javonte Williams is going to come back after ACL tear. Like, there's still lots of question marks with him.
I'm not even being a homer because I don't even like the team, but most interesting team that could really shake up the AFC for me is the Browns. It is the Browns. They have so much talent, on both ends.
If Deshaun Watson is 2020 Deshaun Watson, where he dragged the Houston Texans to 4 wins and dragged them, the Browns, sky's the limit for them. They're going to they're going to ruin some seasons.
And then NFC, obviously, talk will always be like Cowboys and all that stuff, but it will be Super Bowl hangover for the Eagles. 49ers are going full in with Brock Purdy.
The 49ers are a story. Like, I think they have had the most noise. If there's one team that is just poised for disappointment, I think it's them.
Well, because they're expecting. They've already talked. They said if we had one not injured quarterback out of our 4, we would have been in the Super Bowl. We would have won. And I don't disagree with you. I don't know if you would have won the game still, but it would have been more competitive if all 4 of your QBs are not hurt.
It's been a noisy team, and that typically does not end well.
No.
You remember when the Browns first got OBJ and Baker Mayfield? Yeah, that shit was a fucking disaster. Too much noise. Like, the NFL is meant to be the good teams move in silence. You don't hear. There's not much chatter around the Chiefs, even though one of their best defensive players is holding out right now.
Is that why you didn't pick the Jets? Because you want to talk about chatter now. That team has chatter.
I can't. I cannot go there with the Jets. I can't.
You want to talk about that's another do or die. This is Aaron's last chance to get a ring.
Yeah, I can't go with the Jets. I've never been the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan, so it's literally Cowherd led with his show for like 2 straight weeks. And I'm like, bro, I swear to God, if you talk about fucking Aaron Rodgers one more goddamn time.
It's going to be interesting, man. The first game of the year, is another upstart team that Thursday. Defending champs, the Chiefs versus the Detroit Lions.
Yeah.
People are going to see nice and early. They're like, all right, we've been talking about Detroit. Let's see what they're made of going into.
There's actually some fire games week 1. Hold on. Let me pull up the week 1 slate because we'll be back on after week 1 to recap it. But yeah, let me go to the schedule and just highlight some of these big games in week 1. Yeah, so starting off Thursday, we got Detroit at Kansas City.
Yep.
San Francisco at Pittsburgh. Take Pittsburgh. I'm telling you right now. I think I already put that bet in.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the other match?
Did you take them to win the game or just cover?
I'll have to check. I might put a little bit on the money line too.
Okay.
And then we got Miami at the Chargers. That's gonna be a big game.
That's major implications already.
Early. Then we got Sunday night Dallas at the Giants, and then the finale Monday night Bills at Jets.
Are they only doing one? Are they only doing one Monday Night Football game? Usually the first Monday Night Football game they do a doubleheader.
There's only one right now. Okay. Looking at it right now,
but it looks like they're going to have it on every channel: ESPN, ABC, ESPN2, ESPN Plus, ESPN Deportes. So
yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going to be
because I'm used to Monday Night doubleheaders for the first game.
Yeah, it looks like that. It looks like that Philadelphia New England game might be the game of the week, even though it probably should be Miami and LA, but we'll see.
It's exciting. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for this season. Like that, I know the primetime games are going to be the quote unquote games of the week, but playoff implications, man. That Dolphins Chargers game. That's might be one I might have to listen into, or because that's big.
That'll be a game we're previewing on the we will be reviewing that game on the next podcast. I'm due.
So
like that's a big game early on.
Jesus. All right, Justin. Anything else, man? You already gave some betting tips. You said take the Steelers. Any other ones? It's legal now, so now everyone's really dependent on you.
We'll save the real bets for the next podcast. I'll make sure there's a segment where I get them in early so I can get them out to you guys. And yeah, I gotta see how week 1 goes before I start giving y'all picks and shit. see how I do first.
Fair enough.
I start tweeting them out. We'll see.
Oh, that would be smooth. With that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. NFL is back. Week 1 starts September 7th, Thursday Night Football. NBC Lions at Chiefs. Chiefs are going to get their Super Bowl ring, so people remember that game's going to be on longer than usual because of the ring ceremony and all of that. But we're excited. This year is going to be wide open. I will say this now, Justin. I know people are like, obviously the Chiefs, quote unquote, might be the favorites to win the Super Bowl, but it's just history will tell you they've gone to too many things in a row for them to go back and win it again. They need a break.
Facts.
Like I'm saying this right now before the season started, unless they do, but I just don't have them winning the Super Bowl for that reason.
I wouldn't pick the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl either, but I don't like doing preseason picks like that because I don't know the fuck about to be hurt.
That's true. It's just right now, if everyone stayed healthy, which is just, it doesn't happen. Tom Brady went 10 years without going back for his one stint.
It's so dumb. Like, I'm not about to make a pick right now just for content.
Yeah.
Let me see some shit. Let me form a actual opinion on the season. Then I can make a pick, and then if it's wrong, then kill me for it. Give me that grace.
With that being said, L7C podcast signing out. Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.